Hello everyone. So, now we are going to cover what are called loops. And we are going to start with a specific type of loop called the while loop. Now, all loops are the purpose of a loop is to perform some sort of task or algorithm over and over and over again as long as some certain condition is met. And whenever you hear that word condition, you need to think of a Boolean expression, or basically something that's either true or false. So, all that stuff we learned about when we were covering Booleans and if statements and stuff, we're still going to use, but now in a different context. So, let's just begin. So, a while loop, begins with the word while. And then you're going to type the condition, just like how you would in an if or an else if statement. So I could say, let's define a variable first. So like if x is equal to 0, while, and I'm just going to say while x is less than 10. Put the colon there to signify the end of the header on our while loop, just like with if statements and functions and stuff like that. We want that proper indentation. And I'm going to say, print, this is the, no, that's not going to work. This is, we are on iteration, and then it's going to be the value of x. And then in the loops, we need some sort of update for each loop. And that update has to do with the condition that we're using. So the condition is that x is less than 10. Eventually, we want the loop to end. We don't want the loop to go on forever and ever and ever, typically. So in order to do that, we come up with some sort of update that allows x to approach breaking this condition. So in this case, x needs to either become greater than 10 or equal to 10. And we can do that by saying x is equal to x plus 1. That way, and since it's indented, it's a part of the loop, and on every single loop, we're going to take the value of x and add 1 to it. So if I run this program, it goes through 10 loops, starting at 0. We are on iteration 0, then 1, 2, all the way up to 9. So it goes up to 10, but does not include the 10. If I wanted for it to go up to 10, let's say, then I would just have to make the condition that x is less than 11. And this is just the basic way to get loops started. As we can see, it's just repeating over and over and over again for, in this case, 11 times. So the value of x starts at, of course, 0, and every time it repeats goes up 1 all the way up till 10. Now, we can do more things with these loops, like we can go in descending order. So I'm going to say as long as x is greater than 0, and we're going to start x at 20. I'm going to say instead of x plus 1, we're going to do x minus 1. And I'm just going to say the value of x. The value of x is, and then we'll print out the actual value. So let's run that. The value of x is 20, and then we see it decreases by 1 each time until it hits 0, and then it cancels the loop. We can put code after the loop. I'm going to undo the indentation. I'm going to print out some sort of like this is outside of the loop. And it's learned, like this print statement is outside of the loop. So no matter what, like this print statement is going to run, but it's only going to run after the loop is complete. As long as the loop is going, it's not going to go outside of the loop. It's kind of stuck in that cycle until the cycle ends. We can do other things, like instead of just adding a value, we can multiply by 2 each time. And of course, I would have to modify it a bit. So let's go up to 100. So we do 20 times 2 is 40, times 2 is 80, and then of course after that it's over 100, so the loop stops. So there's different ways we can update the value of x or whatever we're going to use each time. We don't just have to stick to addition or subtraction. So when we're using this, like in actual programs, we just want to make sure that like the basic parts of our loop are planned out. Like we know that this is going to be where the loop is starting at. Over here is where the loop stops at. The condition has to be canceled for the loop to stop. And then over here is where the update's going to happen. And as long as we can, there's obviously a little bit more to it, which we'll go into in the next videos, but as long as we understand those fundamentals, that's the basic gist of setting up most of the loops we're going to be dealing with.